Hey, what's going on with you in the face? How are you? You're looking good. You look like you need some vitamin D for your lips. I don't even know what that means. Hey, how you doing? It's me, Nick Digilio. Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. New videos almost daily. And there are well over, there's like 140 videos here if you're looking at me on the YouTube channel. Check them out. Scroll down. Watch them, and leave your comments and all that cool stuff. And if you're watching me on Patreon, you should donate right now at this very second. If you're not watching me on Patreon, you should go to patreon.com/NickDShow. Donate today. Patreon is a really great website for people who put up videos and share their art and their music and their words and their performances. And it's a great place to help those people out, to help the artists and the communicators out. Money-wise, donation-wise, because sometimes you want to get your stuff out there, but you don't have the resources to do it on your own, and you need help, and that's what we need. We need help, and I need help. I need help mentally for a lot of reasons, but it would be really awesome if you donated today. Pick a tier, $3, $6, $25 a month, and if you donate, it helps me keep this going and my podcast going, and movie reviews and stories and all kinds of stuff, and you get bonus videos that nobody else can get. You become a patron by donating, and you get bonus videos, behind-the-scenes stories about WGN and other radio stories, and other behind-the-scenes videos and things that nobody else gets except for you if you become a patron. You know how you watch PBS for free and you don't donate? That's what you're doing if you're watching Patreon or you're watching my videos and you don't donate. You're doing that. So would you like a tote bag? Okay, those are the extra videos that you get access to. That's your tote bag. Otherwise, you should feel very guilty for watching PBS and not donating every once in a while. You know what I mean? Do that. $3 a month. That's a bag of Doritos and a stick of chewing gum a goddamn month. You can afford that. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Pick a tier, become a patron, donate now, get bonus videos. And you know what? Feel fucking good about yourself. That's what you'll get out of it mostly. And entertainment and extra videos. So anyway, do that. Nick D Podcast every Tuesday, Friday. RadioMisfits.com, Radio Misfits Network. Okay. We are almost at the end of the Chicago Critics Film Festival. This is the 9th annual event put together by the Chicago Film Critics Association, of which I am a member, and of which my friends and colleagues that I've known for a very long time put this thing together. They program it. It's the only film festival in the world which is programmed by film critics. They pick movies that they see at festivals and independently, and put them out there, show them at the beautiful Music Box Theater, the greatest theater in the country, and you get to see them on the big screen, beautifully projected in a great atmosphere. And many of these films also have special guests. They'll fly in the writers or directors or producers, they'll fly in the stars, people who are associated with the movie. They also have anniversary screenings, special anniversary screenings, like they hosted a 30th anniversary midnight screening of Francis Ford Coppola's version of Dracula, and they also hosted a 25th anniversary 35mm screening of Paul Thomas Anderson's masterpiece, Boogie Nights. In addition to showing animation, documentaries, foreign films, independent movies, movies with big stars, movies that have no budgets, movies that have medium budgets, movies that you will see for the very first time at the festival. And it is, last night was the 6th night of the film festival, and I will tell you about the 3 movies that I saw there. Tonight is closing night. It's the last night. 2 more movies to show, and I will tell you about those tomorrow, because I will be at closing night tonight, which is going to be a really big night. Amy Landecker, actress, is going to be there. The director, co-star, and writer of the movie I Love My Dad, and Patton Oswalt, one of the funniest people, one of the most talented human beings and stand-up comedians ever, who's also a terrific actor, is also going to be there for closing night at the Music Box Theater. So there are limited tickets available for tonight, but I will tell you about what I saw last night. Last night was night 6 of the festival. I have gone to 5 nights. I missed 1 night because I saw, I wasn't, I didn't miss it. I missed the film festival that night, but I ended up seeing 3 movies that day anyway. I mean, I've been seeing, this past week has been a whirlwind of movies. I mean, I have seen a shit ton of them. At this point, I've seen 16 movies this week. 16. I will see 2 more tonight. 16? Yes, 16 movies this week. 17. I will see 2 more tonight. So that's in 7 days, I will have seen 19 movies. by going to the film festival and seeing a couple of movies on my own. I saw the new Top Gun movie. I'm not really supposed to review that until it officially opens. There's an embargo, but it sucked. And I saw the new Bob's Burger movie, which also opens on the same day, which is great. So I'll do videos on those otherwise. But, so last night was night 6 of the Chicago Critics Film Festival. And the 3 movies that I saw, let me quickly review them for you. Inuo. Inuo is a Japanese anime film, brand new one, that I believe gets released to the public at the end of the summer. And it is directed by Masaka Yuasa. Masaka Yuasa. He's the director. He's directed some other Japanese animated films before. And it is based on sort of a Japanese legend. It takes place in the 14th century Japan. And it is about a young boy who is blinded while looking for a treasure for these shoguns. He and his father. The father is killed and he is blind. And then years later, he discovers that he loves to play music. He becomes a musician. He's blind. And he meets this really weird, interesting dude named Inuo. And Inuo is strangely kind of deformed, has a very long, weird arm and doesn't walk straight. He's kind of like creature-like. And he's forced to cover up his face by a weird little mask. And when he meets this musician, this blind musician, they form a partnership because when he plays the music, musician plays the music, Inuo begins to dance and discover that he has this incredible ability to dance, which starts to slowly transform him into what would be considered a normal body. Like things begin to change and transform within him because of this music. And they become very, very popular with the world around them. To the chagrin of the voices in charge. They become like a new source of music, a new kind of music that is challenging the norm and challenging the kingdom in charge. And they start to transform themselves. The blind kid becomes more confident, becomes more beautiful, and Inuo becomes more normal physically, and has this very physical transformation. Now, the first part where they start the legend and they tell the story is beautifully told, very, very intriguing, and it really sucks you in. And let me just say this, the animation throughout the entire film is gorgeous. It's a beautifully animated movie. It is the classic Japanese anime technique on full, beautiful visual display. Let me just say that. But then the middle section turns into kind of a musical where there's musical number and song after song and musical number after musical number. But the problem is that the music, all the songs sound exactly the same. And they're kind of bad, poppy, 80s hair metal, classic rock influenced songs that sound exactly the same. The lyrics are pretty much the same. And it's like scene after scene after scene of these songs that sound repetitive and not very good. They're not very good songs, not very creative. And it's like repetitive scene after repetitive scene after repetitive scene of these animated sort of videos, musical numbers, where these two people, this blind guitarist or musician and Inuo, the dancer, start to transform and become different people and become adults and find their own voice. And their own identity. The movie is about identity and voice and finding it. And so during the course of that, their characters change, but the storytelling stops completely. And it just becomes music, song, music, song, music, song, and they all sound the same. And it gets repetitive, and I was totally taken out of the story. But then, in the last 15 minutes, when the final transformations of both of those characters happen, and they go up against 14th century the monarchy, they go up against that and they make change and they find their voice and they find who they are and the changes that they are. It's beautiful, like the emotionally gratifying. The last 15 minutes of this movie is gorgeous and beautiful. And overall, it's definitely worth a look. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination. Again, beautifully animated, technically superb. Middle section, not good. Repetitive, bad music over and over and over again. and they lose focus of what's strong about the story, but they really pick it up in the end. So, beginning of the movie, terrific. End of the movie, really terrific. The middle part, not so good. So overall, it's a mixed bag. I would not rush out to see it. It's certainly not bad. And technically, again, the animation, beautiful. But a mixed bag for Inuo. That was the first movie I saw last night. The second movie I saw last night was Resurrection. This is one of many, they've been horror strong this year at the Chicago Critics Film Festival. I'd like to thank my friends who programmed it. All of my buddies, by the way, have done a fucking spectacular job. Not only picking great movies, but professionally, pulling this event off. Everybody is there on their own time, volunteering to make sure it's gone beautifully. The staff at the Music Box, fucking amazing. They're working their asses off. This festival has gone off without a hitch. It's gone off professionally. It's done really, really well. They care about the audience. They talk to the audience. Each movie is introduced by one of the members of the Chicago Film Critics Association. There are ballots so that the voice of the audience can be heard, and they'll give the film that got the best response from the audience a prize at the end, so they get the audience involved. The way that this Chicago Critics Film Festival has been handled, has been presented, and has been run is fucking top-notch, professional, and amazing. And my friends and colleagues, I could not be more impressed or proud of them. And if that sounds like pompous and condescending, I apologize, but that's the fucking way I feel. I've been doing this a really long time, and most of the people that are involved in this event have not been doing it as long as I have. They have not been in the Film Critic Association since the beginning. They've not been around as long as I have, and these are guys that I've known. Some guys I brought in. There are guys that I've actually brought into this festival, or to the association, and to the into the film critic world. And to see them just kicking ass and doing better than I could ever do running any kind of festival. I can't even mop up a floor in my apartment, let alone run a fucking film festival. But they do a remarkable job. Eric Childress, Steve Procopi, Brian Tellerico, Peter Sipke, Dan Geyer, Colin Suter, who picks all the short films, and so many of the other people who volunteer, who help out, people who program, who put this thing together. I am proud to say that they are my colleagues and that they are my friends, and they fucking kick ass at doing this and putting on a remarkably professional, beautifully programmed festival. So let me just say, they do a great job, and if you're a horror fan like me, can you fucking tell? If you're a big horror fan like me, this year has been spectacular in that regard. They programmed like at least 5 horror films, and almost all of them are good. This next one that I'm going to talk about falls under the horror category, although more psychological mind screw, if you will. Resurrection. It is the latest film from a director-writer named Andrew Siemens, or Simmons. And this is only his second full feature, and he hasn't made a movie since 2012, so it's been 10 years. And it is a psychological horror film starring the incredible, the remarkable. There are very few superlatives that you can't use to describe how unbelievably talented and amazing Rebecca Hall is as an actress. For my money, she's maybe the best, ballsiest actress on the planet right now. Elizabeth Moss is like right there with her. And there are a lot of other amazing actresses out there. But Rebecca Hall is just the shit right now. She's the deal. And she has been since I first saw her in movies. And I remember seeing her in a British romantic comedy a bunch of years ago. From like 2006. And I can't remember the title of it right now. But it was like early James McAvoy and her. And it was a young James McAvoy, one of his early movies. And he was kicking ass in that movie. He's like this weird sort of rom-com from Britain that she and James McAvoy were in. And I'll find the title of it as soon as I turn this off, I'll remember the fucking title of it. And then she's in whatever fucking Woody Allen piece of shit it was. And I remember liking her in that. It's a Woody Allen movie. And it's something about a Woody Allen movie I liked. And of course it's Rebecca Hall. So I've liked her since then. She was in The Town, the Ben Affleck movie. She's been in a ton of stuff. She can do easily from any genre. She has done everything from romance to comedy to thriller to straight up drama to period piece to modern times to psychological thriller. Last year, she starred in a terrific, terrifying, beautiful, heartbreaking psychological ghost horror movie called The Night House. And her performance in that movie last year was the best performance by any human being in any movie last year. I don't give a fuck what won awards. I don't care who was nominated. I don't care who they gave all the awards to or who everybody was talking about actress-wise or actor-wise last year. The best performance by an actor of any sex last year was Rebecca Hall in The Night House. Leaps and bounds, the best performance by any human being was in the fantastic, horrifying, scary, heartbreaking horror film, ghost movie, The Night House. And now she returns in Resurrection for yet another fucking spectacular performance. An amazing performance. Listen, here's the deal. Rebecca Hall is the best actress working today, like by far. She's also a producer on this project. She's picking things that she likes to do. She was also a producer on The Night House. So clearly, this is the kind of stuff she likes to do. This is the kind of stuff she's good at. She's good at everything now, by the way. Every genre, every style, everything. But this is the stuff that she likes. It's in her wheelhouse, and she's clearly amazing at it. She is also an amazing director. She directed a film last year called Passing, which was a remarkable movie. Look it up. A great film. And she's not only a great producer, a smart producer, a good writer, a fucking amazing actress, like unbelievable, but a great director. This is the deal. Rebecca Hall is an extraordinarily special talent and should be worshipped on a daily basis. So anyway, in this movie Resurrection, which I saw last night, which is from IFC Films, and it will be released, I believe, in August. And in it, she plays a successful businesswoman. You don't really know what she does, but she's a successful businesswoman, single mother, raising a daughter. A terrific performance, by the way. Her daughter is played by Grace Kaufman. And she's going off to college in just a few weeks. She's 17, going on 18, about to leave the nest. And this existential crisis, Rebecca Hall starts to go through this existential crisis because of this. She's a single mother who's going to be losing, it's going to be an empty nester with her 18-year-old daughter leaving the house. And this brings back some psychological issues for her. And she starts to think about this stuff in her head, like what's she going to do when her daughter is gone. But she's like a mentor to people that she works with. There's a young intern played by Angela Carbone, who looks to her boss, played by Rebecca Hall, for advice and help. And she gives motherly advice to this person. She's kind of the mother-ish. She has that mother position in her office. She is also having an affair with a married man, but she's doing it on her terms. She works out every day. She runs. She does what every successful single businesswoman is doing, a single mother. She's screwing who she wants to screw, even though she's married, but everything is done on her terms. She's the boss at work. She is a mother figure to the young intern at work, and she's about to lose her 18-year-old daughter. And as a result, something in her mind goes, especially when she sees a man that she once had an affair with at a very young age, played by Tim Roth. Suddenly, this very mysterious biologist named David shows up at a meeting, and she sees him and starts to freak out because this guy did horrible things to her, according to her. When she was 18 years old, she had an affair with him, a much older gentleman who got her drunk, took her away from her parents, forced her to do all kinds of crazy stuff, and forced her to do all kinds of challenges, like walk barefoot and live a certain way for a year, no food, no this, no that, challenge herself, her psyche, her body. They have a baby together, and then the baby is, according to her, murdered. And this is all brought back to her. All of this horrible trauma that happened to her as an 18-year-old with this older gentleman comes rushing back to her when she sees Tim Roth, and then begins to confront him. Why are you here? Why are you back? And I don't want to go into any details about it. Let's just say things get really fucking trippy and really weird. And the movie is about the traumatic things that happen to a single woman who is facing the fact that her daughter, the thing that she's lived for, is leaving the nest, and how that traumatizes her because she's had early trauma in her life. What happens in the movie, it gets darker and more twisted. What Rebecca Hall goes through, what's going on in her mind, Is this real? Is she imagining this crazy stuff that's happening to her? The relationship with her daughter becomes strained and insane and intense. She starts to lose her mind, doesn't go into work, doesn't take care of herself, has several confrontations with this mysterious, crazy, creepy Tim Roth from her past. And this traumatic event that happened between her, the Tim Roth character, and the baby that they had, all climaxes in a final 15 minutes that will send you through the roof of the theater because it's so creepy and intense and insane and visceral. And what happens on screen is there's a lot of like, oh God, there's a lot of that. And it builds up to a climax that is just intense, insane, and will make you nuts. It's a brilliant movie. Resurrection. I think a near masterpiece. I think one of the very, very best films of 2022. Again, anchored by an insane, brave, ballsy, incredible performance by Rebecca Hall. She has a long single-take monologue in this movie that is the core of the film. It explains really thoroughly what thematically the movie is about, who the character is, what she's going through, and it's all done in a monologue, just watching the beautiful, expressive, incredible face of Rebecca Hall. Have I mentioned that Rebecca Hall is great and that I like her a little bit? Yeah. No, I love her. She is incredible. This is an intense movie. It's not for people who don't want to see visceral stuff, for crazy shit that happens in people's heads. It's about trauma. It's a very upsetting film, but overall it's very rewarding. It's also heartbreaking and sad, terrifying and intense, suspenseful. And really, it's a challenging movie. You are being challenged while you're watching this movie. It's not an easy sit. It's not. This is a tough fucking movie to watch, but the payoff is extraordinary. Tim Roth is fantastic. Everybody in the movie is great. The supporting cast, the daughter, her lover, the intern at her work, all of the teeny roles. A woman who plays a hotel clerk has one scene in the movie, and she's magnificent. But it's all anchored by yet another extraordinary performance by one of the most talented people on this planet, Rebecca Hall. Resurrection, an incredible, scary, creepy, psychological thriller, horror mindfuck of a movie that I cannot recommend highly enough. Absolutely one of the best movies of the year, and easily one of the best films that I've seen at the fest. So, Resurrection. So that was the middle movie. The last movie I saw was a movie called Flux Gourmet. I can get this one done pretty quickly. This is from a writer-director, provocateur, a British guy named Peter Strickland, who's made some weird movies. He's known for his out there sort of very, very anal sort of filmmaking. He's got a very specific vision. He's weird. He goes to weird places, and he has weird characters, and he has a very distinctive, weird voice. And if you like his stuff, you like his stuff. If you don't, you don't. He's one of those guys, you're either going to dig what he does because it's so out there and so weird, or you're not going to dig it. He's best known for like The Duke of Burgundy, a couple of other movies. In Fabric is the one that I like the most. But he's got a very distinctive, his films are filled with weird situations and weird characters. They're surreal, they're deadpan, they're supposed to be funny in that sort of really deadpan kind of way. So the latest movie that he did is this thing called Flux Gourmet. Again, this is from IFC, Midnight, and it's coming out, I think, in the middle, I think in a few weeks, it's coming out. And it has a bunch of people in it that nobody really knows, although the kid from Hugo is in it, which is weird, because he's now like, he's an adult now. But every time I see this kid, Asia Butterfield is his name, I see Hugo from the Martin Scorsese film from like 12 years ago or whatever it was. And he's like in this movie doing kinky shit and getting his nipples pinched and like smelling fingers that have been in vaginas and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to see Hugo doing that. That's Hugo. That's little Hugo. He likes movies. You know? Him and Chloe Grace Moretz are going to sit in a movie theater. I don't want to see him smelling vagina fingers. I don't want that in my life. So anyway, Hugo, the kid from Hugo's in it, along with a bunch of people. And it all takes place at this institute where there's this collective of artists and culinary students who do performance art and music based upon culinary, and they're at this institute for a consortium where they're going to stay there for a few weeks and present performance art and culinary stuff to people, and it's all being covered by a reporter who farts a lot, and it's weird, and the costumes are very strange, and it's all shot. It's very Peter Greenaway-like. If you're familiar with Peter Greenaway, this guy is very influenced by that kind of thing. It's very forced and very, very quirky with a capital quirk. And I got to tell you something. It started at close to 10 o'clock last night. I was tired. I left after an hour. It was not working for me. It wasn't terrible. It was kind of interesting. I thought it was pretentious and kind of dull. It didn't really do much for me. It seemed quirky for quirky's sake, and just like people covered in like gazpacho and rolling around naked and doing all kinds of weird shit with phalangers and music instruments and sticking a mic and boiling, spaghetti sauce. I mean, that's it, and doing performance art. I just like after Resurrection, I was like spent because Resurrection's a challenging movie that made me think, and I was a little bit exhausted from all of the beautiful challenges that I received from Resurrection and Rebecca Hall. And now I'm sitting in this sort of pretentious, forced, quirky world where people are farting and the audience seemed to like it. I was in a room full of people going, ha, 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 at like every quirky, fucking forced moment in it. And I was like, listen, man, the Irving Park bus stops at midnight, okay? And I was like, you know what? I'm not digging this. I left after an hour. There was still about 45 minutes left when I left. I left around an hour into it because I was like, you know what? If I miss the Irving Park bus because of this fucking movie, I'm not going to be quirky, I'm going to be pissed, and I'm going to find Hugo and punch him right in the goddamn mouth. So I left after an hour. I'll catch up with it when it shows up on the AFC or IFC channel, in a year or so. But it's certainly low on the list of movies I've seen at the festival. So anyway, I was tired. I was like, fuck this. I'm getting on the Irving bus, and I'm going to go home. And that's what I did. So that's Flux Gourmet. Not recommended. And so I only liked one, really, of the two. I mean, I didn't hate the Japanese animated film. Didn't hate it. I think it's worth a look. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination. But Resurrection, that's the movie. Rebecca Hall, the real deal. The real deal. So, anyway, closing night is tonight. 2 movies, an Emma Thompson movie and a Patton Oswalt movie. They close it out. Patton Oswalt will be there along with the director and other stars, including Amy Landecker, for a closing night of the Chicago Critics Film Festival. And again, congratulations to my boys at the Chicago Critics, to my boys and ladies at the Chicago Critics Film Festival for all that you do and all that you've programmed. I've seen a lot of great movies, and I will summarize the whole thing in the next video and on my Facebook page and all that other stuff. And on the podcast, Nick T Podcast, I will list my favorite movies that I've seen. All of the movies that I saw at the festival, I'll tell you all about them and rank them in order. So anyway, Resurrection's the best that I saw last night. And so there you go. Check it out. And go to musicboxtheater.com if you want to get tickets if you're watching this today. If you're not watching it today, then you missed out. But anyway, congratulations to the CCFF boys and girls. Yeah!